the truth. Did you kill Nolan? Did you have anything to do with Nolan's death? Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone?
Okay, so everybody that's following this case probably is aware that Warren did an interview with Tatum, and that's what we listening to under fair use. So let's get into it. What is he saying here?
People are still out there partying and they're having a good time, but something happened to where it necessitated you guys to get the boat up and running. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, And Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled at, yelled for Nolan, get the F on the boat, get on the boat.
Now, when I heard this, right, I was like, what was going on for him to just talk to Nolan like that? Why? And then he just said that Nolan was on the boat. He said Nolan was sitting by the boat with that girl, Katie, and my buddy yelled at him, Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. So why didn't Nolan want to get on the boat? But we know that's a damn lie because we not believing this now. But I'm just pointing this out because we just listened to. Let me pull up this right quick, and then I'm gonna let him keep talking because it's always good to let him talk.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles. Hello? All right.
I know we have a membership, like, guaranteed. I don't have the tag on here. What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message. All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles.
Now, you just heard him say, no, get the fuck up is what I sound like he's saying. Or is he saying get the F out? But we just heard what Warren just said. Didn't he just say something like that? Yelling? Hold on. Let's go here.
Yeah, I'm like yelling at other people, trying to tell them, calm down. Like, the boat could possibly sink, And Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get the F on the boat, get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. The next day, I got a phone call from my buddy Trace, and he was like, hey, man, they just found his body.
Very, very interesting. It sounds like we talking about the same scenario we was just listening to, but let me just let this play.
Reaction was just, I was my buddy Brooks, and I broke down.
You guys have been interviewed by law enforcement. All of you guys have given statements. But then I think that there's a part associated with this that's being rumored out in the public, and that is the situation with the cell phone, potential deletion of messages, how the cell phone was retrieved. And I just want you to tell your side of this, because what we're getting from the media is that they literally had to, coerce you guys into giving it back. You didn't know.
Exactly. In his own words, John. Now listen, look, y'all might be new over here, but we don't make stuff up over here. And we like to go by what comes out of the main people's mouths. Y'all heard what he just said. Truth with lies, baby.
Where it was at, you were hesitant to give the phone over. Almost as they had to turn your wrist or twist your arm just to give it back. Right? Well, what happened with the cell phone thing? So let's go back to the first engagement you had when it comes to the family or somebody coming back to get the cell phone and keys. When did that occur, and what happened there?
Okay, well, that night, about 12:30, I went back to my buddy's house.
And you said the night of the 4th?
Yeah.
The night of the 4th, but it was about 12:30, I would like to say. And so I went back to my buddy's house, and I stayed the night before, where we all met up, and stayed together the night before. And my buddy got a call from this guy, and the guy was like, oh, like, you know, like what's going on with all this Nolan stuff? Very aggravated. I mean, yeah, every right to be, but I mean, we were trying to calm him down, and like he was just like, oh, like where y'all at? My buddy said, you know, we're at my buddy's house, and he said, all right, and then he just hung up. And so about 30 minutes later, I'd like to say, all of a sudden the door just got open and slammed, and there was a girl who walked in, and like probably about 8 or 9 guys behind her, and then a mom, which was Javon's mom. And
who's Javon? I want to put that in perspective. Who is Javon?
Javon is one of Nolan's good friends. He's a friend of mine too. You know, like great guy, and his mom and their family is, you know, very close to, you know, the Wells family. And I mean, so I don't know why she was there, like what was going on, but I was very surprised about this. I was like, you know, like you just basically like kicked the door open and, you know, busted up in the house, no knock or anything.
So is Javon black or white?
Javon's mixed. I mean, I don't.
He's mixed.
Yeah.
So, but he's not white.
No, he's not white.
Just white.
Yeah.
Or all white, I guess.
Yeah.
So then they come in the house. Do you know any of these people?
I know some of the guys.
The mom, but do you know anybody else?
I've seen the mom before, and I know most of them. Most of the guys went to high school with me, and like I'm friends with some of the guys. I mean, you know, I know some of them. So eventually, like things started to get heated, and I was just like a guy I was like, you know, friends with in high school. He was like, "Man, come outside with me," and I was like, "All right." And I walked outside with him. He was like, "Man, I don't know what." Like they're panicking, and you know, like this is just like I think Nolan's just on somebody's couch. He's been drinking all day. He's just messed up, and you know, this is nothing that we have to worry about. As much as you know, I sat there and I told him, I was like, you know, I agree. I would think, you know, he's on somebody's couch, just had been drinking all day and just, you know, drank.
See, they try to make Nolan out of the drunkard, but see, we have proof that they were drunk. We got this dispatch call where he can barely pronounce his words, acting drunk. Everybody on the boat was acting some kind of way, especially the caller though. So we have that, and then we also have like one of his friends that he was sitting next to in the famous picture that everybody knows about had whatever he was drinking. This guy with the in the middle, kind of, you know, to the right of well, to my left of Nolan, in the blue spicy looking shorts. He had drink coming all out of his mouth, down his stomach, leg. So I think he was drunk too. You know what I'm saying? But all we hear is them trying to make sure they bring home that Nolan had been drinking all day. Nolan was drunk. He was hammered. He was, you know, everybody got something to say about Nolan. It's sad.
Much was super intoxicated. You know, that's kind of what a lot of us thought, but they like, you know, I agree. I would think, you know, he's on somebody's couch, just had been drinking all day and just, you know, drank too much and was super intoxicated. You know, that's kind of what a lot of us thought, but they were kind of losing it and they were going crazy. And the mom that was with them demanded Nolan's phone because Nolan left the phone on the boat. And when we ran in, Nolan didn't ask for his phone. And his keys were not on the boat because his car was parked at my buddy's house where we had all slept, you know, the night before the 4th.
Now we know that they were at what's his name, Jack's house. His keys and car, I believe, was at Jack's, and I think that was an apartment.
And so the keys were left at the house because Nolan's car was at my buddy's house where we stayed at. So of course he left his keys there. But his phone, I mean, he was drinking. He didn't have his phone in the water because no one did. And I mean, there was more than just Nolan's phone that wasn't on the boat with us.
It was more than just Nolan's phone that was on the boat.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously had all our phones, but on the boat.
I really could have just ended this at the first part of it, right? Because the way that they were talking to Nolan, the way that he described that, I'm like, what? Why they so upset with Nolan? They want us to believe it was Tristan that was into a fight about his girl, somebody butting in. Then Warren tells a story about his brother in a fight, but Nolan is the only one dead. Make it make sense. I think that they had an issue with Nolan over a girl, like I said, and it got to be Katie. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But somehow Katie had to catch a whole nother ride. So that's what makes me believe they had a problem with Katie as well. Katie said it's just so many freaking lies and inconsistencies and stuff that don't make sense. He just clarified it all. And the lack of emotions that this guy has. Talking about your buddy, not your buddy, because he didn't call Nolan his buddy. He's calling everybody else his buddy. And Nolan is his brother, right? Bullshit.
But those weren't the only people. Like, Nolan wasn't the only person that left a phone on the boat. There was a lot of people that left phones on the boat, that didn't ride out or in with us. So I mean, there was a couple phones that we had that we didn't know who they belonged to, and my buddy's got that figured out, you know. But
me either, BFF, especially now that we have this information. Like, I mean, come on. That call right there, they should have been locked up already. That call happened on the 4th of July. You mean to tell me nobody checked this dispatch audio and heard that? Or did they not realize that how deep YouTubers go and get this information? Because this dispatch audio been out. It's just been being released in increments. But I'm saying they could have solved the crime right there, but they didn't. And then they mutilated his body. Freaking disgusting. Trying to cover it up. I have no doubt he was choked out or something. What other reason would they take all that? That's how you could determine what happened, if he drowned and all that. And you can't. Like, this is a cover-up. This is what it looks like. Especially when the first thing that came out of their mouth is that it was no foul play. And then you got these people telling the rescuers they don't want their dogs to search the boat. What you hiding? What do you have to hide? Innocent people want to clear themselves at all costs, however they can, right?
It wasn't just Nolan's phone that, you know, was on the boat who wasn't there. You know, there was a lot of phones.
So when they barged in, they started getting frantic. The mom asked for Nolan's phone.
Right.
Was there a struggle over it, or
no? I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like, you know, she asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, you know, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, you know, nothing. But I mean, I told Miss Christine that we had.
Now that's a lie, because his buddy didn't go out to the truck. The mother did, because I caught Christine saying that. She was like, the mother went out and hand them the key, hand her the phone or whatever. But it took a minute. Wait, hold on. Make sure I ain't getting confused. Let's take that back.
The Wells family, and my butt just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it.
Mom asked for Nolan's phone.
Right.
Was there a struggle over it, or
no? I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like, you know, she asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, you know, the Wells family, and my buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, you know, nothing. But I mean, I told Miss Christine that we had his phone and he had left it in our possession on the boat.
When did you? Miss Christine is Nolan's mom.
Correct.
When did you talk to her about that?
When I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. Like, it was like 12:30. I mean, I might have texted her a couple times and, like, you know, talked briefly about a couple things, but I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard that we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, I asked, I was like, oh, well, where's his location at? Because Nolan had his Snapchat location things, but when I was on, no, I didn't talk to her once. Like, it was like 12:30. I mean, I might have texted her a couple times and, like, you know, talked briefly about a couple things, but I I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard.
Now, according to what I have been talking about the whole time, is that 11 o'clock is what time he called the Coast Guards, and he called the mother at 11:07. But he's trying to make it seem like he called the Coast Guards after her. And then he also said in one part that he talked to them for like 20 minutes. So that's an inconsistency is what I'm pointing out.
That we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, things, but I told her on the phone before I called the Coast Guard that we had Nolan's phone. Before I called Miss Christine, I asked, I was like, oh, well, where's his location at? Because Nolan had his Snapchat location on for me. And he said, it's Wyatt said it's, in my truck. Like, because everybody who left stuff on the boat, it was Wyatt's boat, so Wyatt put it in his truck, like it's normal. And so the phone was in possession in Wyatt's truck. And when that mom came over and asked for it, there was no issue at all with us giving the phone to her. I mean, Nolan just left it on the boat. We handed the phone to her that night of the 4th of July.
And did you guys go through the phone, or?
Of course not. I mean,
we do know that this whole time the mother has been saying that she had to track his phone. She talked to him, right? But he never told her that they had his phone. You would have thought that would have came out immediately. Oh yeah, we got Warren's phone, his keys is here, we'll meet you to give it to you, or you can come and get it or whatever. None of that happened. So somebody need to make that part make sense. It's lies.
None of us had a reason to go through Nolan's phone. I mean, there's multiple phones on the boat. Why would it be? And the boat was having issues. Why would our concern be getting on Nolan's phone or something? I mean, I don't even know Nolan's password. None of my friends do.
Well, it would be to cover up what you had just did. You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
We had no reason ever to get on Nolan's phone and look at anything. I didn't even touch Nolan's phone. None of us touched Nolan's phone until somebody took it off the boat and put it in Wyatt's truck, and then no one touched it until we handed it back, to the mom that was at my buddy's house.
Was that the only phone that she picked up, or was it other people's phone that they came and got? Or?
That I know of, I think that was the only one that she had. Yeah, but I'm not completely sure. I think that's the only one that she took Nolan's. That's it.
And so we're on the 4th, where the night, probably going into the morning of the 5th, this happens. Then the dad comes back at some point to get the keys.
Right.
What happened there? When was this, and what happened?
Well, my buddy Brooks drove me and dropped me off at my house, and I woke up to a text the next morning that Miss Christina texted me, and she said, hey, Nolan's dad's there, is there at my buddy's house to pick up the keys. And, I didn't think anything of it. I told her.
So his buddy one of his buddies he don't want to name is Jax, because that's where the keys and stuff was at.
I was praying for, and, that we were out there, and we were, doing everything that we could to help out.
And when he came to pick the keys up, was there a confrontation on it? Because I could have sworn I saw on the news that when he came to pick the keys up, it was almost like an altercation because you guys didn't want to get the keys over, or you said you didn't know where the keys were at?
I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, I wasn't there, but from what my friend told me, they just had to look for Nolan's keys. It's not like, why would we be hiding Nolan's keys? There's no reason to hide anything. This is our friend. We have nothing to hide. I mean, we were trying to do everything that we could to help out.
What? Like, okay, so we gonna believe the family, or we gonna believe him? Hold on.
So now I'm really like in distress with you, but I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys, so I can get his car. I said, he's like,
his car was in the yard.
His car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. Nolan's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because then that would be a whole new situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jax guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distress with you. But as far as the night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew some,
This has just been an awful situation, just terrible.
Elmore Wansley, the father.
Best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. People who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. But we are grateful, especially to our friend Tashima, who actually was one of the people who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then provided that to us because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with, whether it was the county or the city, which then turned into DMR, who I contacted immediately from there. But
Tell them how you got the cell phone.
so our friend actually, when I called her, Nolan is best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. When I called her, I said, Tashima, have you seen Nolan? He's missing. No one has seen him. No one has talked to him. The boys were actually with her sons. So they opened up their Snapchat because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent, and then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location.
And notice that she said she received the phone from that parent. That's the female that handed the phone to her.
Issues obtaining the key. But even so, there's just a lot of...
Tell them about what happened with the key.
So I'm going to let my husband tell you about that because he actually went up to the door to get the key because at that point, I was just not in my right mind. This has just been an awful situation. Just terrible.
Elmore Wansley.
Now, I believe because at first the dispatch call said that there was a female trying to get some keys and harassing them or something like to that effect. The police was called in the midst of all this while he's talking like that. And let me see something because I might be able to get to that really quick too while we here. Shout out to everybody here. I can't look at the chat right now, but I am glancing at them, putting them up as I can. Y'all keep talking. Let me know what y'all think about what y'all hearing. And if y'all have heard anything else, do y'all believe this? This is not AI. This is the real deal. This stuff is coming directly out of these folks' mouths. Let's see if I got it here. Hold on.
I actually stayed with Nolan that night at my buddy's house, and very big deal. And
nah, this ain't the one. It's hold on. It's one where I said the police were called on Nolan's parents, which everybody, that video, that short is at 42K right now. I think this is it.
say he went and looked.
Right.
And so he said he couldn't find them. I did what I needed out of their home. And like I said, 5 minutes later, he come back out with the keys. And they didn't come back outside anymore until the police came. Because at that time, police were called because we were looking for his wallet, and then they went to the door. But other than that, when they sent the keys out, they locked everything.
And I believe that his wallet, like I just showed y'all, I believe that the wallet was in his pocket. If I mean, it definitely looked like a wallet. Let me pull that back up. Well, I'll pull it up in a minute. But the police got called, and we listened to the dispatch calls about it.
But other than that, when they sent the keys out, they locked everything.
Crump told Good Morning America last. Okay, so let me go back here. Let me go back to what he was saying.
Came to pick the keys up. Was there a confrontation on him? Because I could have sworn I saw on the news that when he came to pick the keys up, it was almost like an altercation because you guys didn't want to get the keys over, or you didn't. You said you didn't know where the keys were at.
I mean, no, absolutely not. I mean, I wasn't there, but from what my friend told me, they just had to look for Nolan's keys. It's not like, why would we be hiding Nolan's keys? There's no reason to hide anything. You know, this is our friend. We have nothing to hide. I mean, we were trying to help, do everything that we could to help out.
All right, so I want to be clear with this one.
With friends like this, you definitely don't need no enemies because you definitely can't tell them apart.
Because I know you mentioned before that you have no reason to touch the phone. Obviously, you didn't touch the phone.
Right.
But is there any chance or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted stuff from his phone?
Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, there was no reason for us to get on Nolan's phone. No one touched Nolan's phone, but nothing. If none of us had touched Nolan's phone, then there's no reason for anything to be deleted. I mean, no one even was in contact with his phone until it was moved from the boat to the truck, and none of us have access to Nolan's password to get on his phone and delete anything. Absolutely not. And we have no reason to delete anything. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. I mean, we have had no reason to delete anything, and we never did.
All right, so I have something I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie. Right. Her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie.
I just want you to explain, what does that mean? Some people in their mind, they may think he's cradling like a baby.
Yeah.
Like what is that scenario?
Yeah, he was. I mean, Nolan was off. The last time I saw him, like I said, I was off the bow of the boat, and like I said earlier.
Oh, hold on, y'all. I'm sitting up here trying to. Whoever texting me, put it in the chat, because that's messing me up right now. And you text me about a case that I'm not talking about right now. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all.
I want to be clear with this one thing, because I know you mentioned before that you have no reason to touch the phone. Obviously, you didn't touch the phone.
Right.
But is there any chance or any knowledge that you have that anybody deleted stuff from his phone?
Absolutely not. I mean, like I said, there was no reason for us to get on Nolan's phone. No one touched Nolan's phone, but nothing. If none of us had touched Nolan's phone, then there's no reason for anything to be deleted. I mean, no one even was in contact with his phone until it was moved from the boat to the truck. And none of us have access to Nolan's password to get on his phone and delete anything. Absolutely not. And we have no reason to delete anything. I mean, there's nothing to hide here. I mean, we have had no reason to delete anything, and we never did.
All right, so I have something I want to make sure that we're clear about, because you had mentioned earlier that you saw Nolan cradling Katie. Right. Her name is Katie.
Yeah, Katie.
I just want you to explain, what does that mean? Some people in their mind, they may think he's cradling like a baby.
Yeah.
Like what is that scenario?
Yeah, he was. I mean, Nolan was off. The last time I saw him, like I said, I was off the bow of the boat. And like I said earlier, if you had jumped off the bow of the boat, you were probably about chest or neck deep in water. So Nolan wasn't like carrying her out the water. She's sitting in the water, and Nolan's arms are under the water, and he's carrying her from under the water. But her head's still out of the water. Nolan's head's still out of the water. And I was looking at both of them. So
yeah, we see he's describing it to a T. So I wonder how many people really had a crush on Katie. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on, man?
So he's kind of like holding her.
Right.
Kind like,
in the water, though.
like we grown, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
two people in the water, they feeling each other.
Right.
Like, meaning feeling they like each other.
Right.
And
that was
he's
obvious.
a little
Yeah.
more close to her, and they're kind of having a moment.
Correct.
Not saying, not insinuating that it's sexual, but
No, of course not, yeah.
they're together. They like each other. You looking at him, you're like, bro, you crazy, because you know that he like her and he's hanging out with her.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That makes sense. And when was the last time that you saw Nolan? And then when was the last time that someone reported to you that Nolan was seen? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You saw him at a certain point, but then someone else saw him a lot later when you guys were gone.
Right. Okay. So the last time I personally laid eyes on Nolan was at like 3 o'clock, and he was, in front of the boat with the girl, and that's the last time I saw him. But there were, I've talked to somebody personally that saw Nolan at 6 o'clock, and someone, we weren't even the last people to see Nolan. We, once we left, there were still dozens on dozens of boats around us, and
so all those dozens of buses should have seen everything. It wasn't a clear spot out there. How did anybody miss anything? Like what?
I mean, clearly we were not the last people to see Nolan.
So Warren, I'm gonna ask you some very pointed questions. I mean, just straight out.
And I'm gonna just straight out say I never heard 6. The latest time of Nolan's alleged sighting, I think it was Javon who said it was 4. Between like right about 4, so they still would have been there. The last sighting we have of him in the water with this female was at 2:23, so they would have been there. And the fact that he said it was like 3 busloads of them, and they all came together and left together. Who the hell they thought that he was gonna get on with? They knew he was on the boat, and we heard it. We heard it because I just gotta keep going back. It's like you report the story and you touch on both sides and what both sides saying on the lies and the truths. But now this new information out today changes everything.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello? All right.
I know we have a membership, like, guaranteed. I don't have the tag on here. What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message. All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a...
So it's a lot going on that boat that Warren ain't telling us about in this what we listening to. Tell us about that, Warren.
I didn't come down here to, do anything other but to get the truth and for you to have a voice in this.
Well, tell the
first
truth.
thing I want to ask you is, did you kill Nolan? Of course.
We need to hear the truth out of his damn mouth. How about that? Let me see what y'all saying right
Join
quick.
Sleuth Nation membership and become a sleuth. For special members emojis, special badges by your name, and sneak peek videos. Join Sleuth Nation membership.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy.
See, people that don't follow the crime community don't know how relentless we are over here. And some people go over and beyond and get information out before the police can lie good, okay? So when I tell you this stuff that he said on this interview, I was thinking, man, I wonder if he gonna want to take this down or private it, because this right here is major.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. For sharing. For sharing. For sharing me. Thank. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and press.
I don't know what more it's gonna take to get these people locked up, because somebody they got a lot of explaining to do. They got lots of explaining to do. Let me know if y'all could hear me. If no one touched Nolan's phone, why didn't his phone stay on the boat? They should have just said they touched the phone enough to put it in the truck. But why not the mother? Yeah, especially since you called the mother. You mean to tell me you called the mother and don't mention that you have his phone? oh, by the way, he left his phone with us. Nothing. Because I believe that they was planning on destroying it. What other reason would you keep that? I can hear you. Thank you, Anisha. Definitely appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to Chip in the building. I see Rook said hi to Chip. Shout out to all of y'all in here. Love, I heard that. Okay, Black Fatigue. Get the hell out. What are we talking about? Yes, liars. Nose is growing. Grayson called a scuba diver. That was proven to be a TikTok video from a month ago. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the pool picture? Yeah, they say that it was days before the 4th of July, but the problem with that is that don't make sense, and maybe you could help it make sense if you believe what they saying, because I don't believe a damn thing they saying. This guy right here, if that's the case, why do we have him with USA shaved in his chest? And another reason, what is going on? There's a whole lot of strange things going on in this water, because when I say everybody don't look happy in that water, I had another picture. I don't even think I put it in here, but I kind of highlighted the weirdness that I see in the water. So I was just focused on him in this particular one, but I'm gonna have to pull up that other one because it's a couple people looking real strange. And by the way, Warren did admit that that's him hugging Nolan right there. That is him hugging him. And then this is the other picture that I was talking about with the shorts. Now, Secret Service Sam is the one that enhanced this photo. You can see a wallet in that zip pocket. So if you heard the father say something about the wallet, this will be why they didn't find his wallet, because it should have been on him if we are to believe, believe what we seeing. I see a wallet. Do y'all see a wallet? But yeah, they just tried to go around the block, the corner, and everything else. Oh, he was with this girl, that girl, this was going on. Yeah, and turns out now Ben Crump shared this picture, like I said. He shared this picture. I don't know who gave it to him or whatever. I gotta read it again. But that don't look like Nolan didn't get on the boat. That looked like somebody wanted Nolan off the boat. And the person sitting there with the hat to the back looked like they on the phone at the time. They might be on the dispatch calls. There was a lot of things going on in the background. But yeah. So it's a lot being said out here. So I don't know, Sky, if that's what you was talking about. That was proven to be whatever. So y'all got Independence autopsy. Yeah, without the important parts to find out what actually happened. But when you got things, the people telling on themselves out their own mouth, we can just go from there. We could just do it the old fashioned way. Straight up, just interrogating somebody and make them tell on their damn self, because they definitely know more. That's a fact. Shout out to Chip. There you go, Coach V. Keep being great. Thank you so much, fam. I definitely appreciate your support. Thank you for sponsoring today's live stream. And also, shout out to Kicking It with the Rooks for the 200 Sunshine Jewels. Thank you, fam. Shout out to Michelle for the thumbs up, 10 jewels. Shout out to Roots for the thumbs up, 10 jewels. Again, shout out to Crazy Red for the butterflies with 450 jewels. Thank you so much. Shout out to allegedly, I'm going to just keep it at allegedly Arcane. Okay. Thank you for the 100 jewels, or the 2 jewels for the 100. And also, thank you to the Real McCoy. Let's see. The Real McCoy said, if something happened to my friend, I'd be talking even if another friend did it. I'd be crying. Adrenaline would be taken over. Adrenaline equal powerful. Exactly. Exactly. You would not be sitting up here telling a story like this. Not a tear, not a drop of emotion, no type of distress, just straight up. I've had enough time to practice this, and now this is what we came up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody really wants to hear this at this point because I mean we do. And thank God he spoke. I'm just saying, because this is great, because we got all of this from him talking. But they've had a chance to hear what everybody else was gonna say, what everybody did say, pull out all the mix and black folks came forward that could, in this case, before he decided, oh, I was the main person. Let me say something now that everything has happened. What made you the timing of it and all that right after the funeral? But this listen, this case is just beginning. You hear me? And shout out to Miss Greenie for the 100 jewels of the Marshmallow High. Thank y'all so much for supporting my content and being sponsors to today's live stream. Shout out to all of you. Hold on, let me see what we got. I'm about to wake y'all up in here. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. Much love. And shout out to everybody hitting the thumbs up and talking in the chat and all that good stuff. We're going to get back to it or we'll be here all day.
Of course not. Did you have anything to do with Nolan's death?
Of course not. Absolutely not.
They say that you guys deleted stuff out of his phone. Did you delete anything out of Nolan's phone?
No, of course not.
The mom act like, or at least she portrayed on television, and the rumors are that you weren't really good friends with Nolan. Is that true or not?
Absolutely not. I hung out with Nolan probably like 3 days a week. I mean, seriously, at least. Some days my friends want to hang out every single day, and Nolan was always there. So,
and obviously, people may see this and know the facts later, right, that you weren't able to go to the funeral or the memorial service.
Right.
Why didn't you go? What was that?
Well, I mean, with everything going on social media right now, with people saying the crazy things that they're saying, I would never want to take the attention off of Nolan and his family. They don't deserve that. And for own personal reasons, I mean, I've gotten thousands of death threats. My family's got thousands of death threats, and for my own safety, I'm not going to put my own health and safety at risk. It breaks my heart that I can't go, and it hurt me more than anything because obviously I want to say my last goodbyes to one of my best friends, but I mean, if I'm getting thousands of death threats of people saying they're going to kill me and do crazy things to my family and I couldn't bring myself to go because, I got to put my own safety first. And if that means, missing my friend's funeral, but it's horrible. And I wish I could have been there, but, that's what's been going on, And
I mean, I would think I wouldn't want to go to a funeral after the police been called and a freaking call coming in talking about they harassing the people that was on the boat earlier. Like, and then close the door, never come, have an attitude with them and being defensive. Oh, he's like a brother to me and all the crap that we hearing coming from the father, even though the father was really holding back on what he was saying. He was saying without saying. But that was pretty nasty for them to do that. And they just trying to find out what happened to their son. So they going to come to the last people that was with him, and you guys